Staying with our winter weather coverage.
It'll be unsafe to travel in many parts of North Carolina.
Already seeing a lot of travel disruption.
We've been tracking this. We've been waiting for this. It's coming down pretty heavily right now in Raleigh.
The largest team in North Carolina working hard to help you prepare.
You know, if you were thinking about running an errand, that time has passed.
Thank you for sticking with us on this WRAL Weather Alert Day.
And you're in the perfect place right now to get all the updates you need as this winter weather storm has hit us here on the air continuously since 4:30 this morning. And we continue so that you can be safe at home or wherever you are. A good afternoon to you on this Wednesday. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey in for Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. So here's the latest. Duke Energy is reporting a handful of outages for some customers. Dozens of flights out of RDU are either canceled or delayed. Numbers growing as well. And DOT crews say they feel confident they will keep the roads safe. They have everything that they need to keep you safe.
So we have live team coverage right now. This WRAL Weather Alert Day, beginning with the forecast and where it stands right now. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Those winter weather alerts for us.
Just a short while ago, the National Weather Service added Wake County, Johnston County, and Sampson County to the winter storm warning. That means the impacts here are looking a little bit greater. Potentially some more sleet moving in around Smithfield and down around Clinton, possibly some additional icing that could cause more power outages. Here's a look at the big picture. We have a low pressure system down along the Gulf Coast headed toward Florida. That has been pushing moisture northward, but we also have a low that's developing offshore. That's going to keep the precipitation going. It's going to push that moisture in from the from the Atlantic and gradually slide off to the east, and then wrapping around it will be more snow for tomorrow in the morning between 7 and noon or so. It's coming down heavily in some places, but not everywhere. Notice how it's patchy right now. We will likely see that filling in a little bit more as we get closer to 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon, but coming down steadily in Raleigh as well as Chapel Hill and Durham up the I-95 corridor. The purple shaded area is where we're seeing a little sleet, some freezing rain mixing in, and it's a little patchier. But Apex, Holly Springs, Wilson's Mill, Zebulon in particular, Zebulon, the camera there has really just looked amazing. I want to start right here in downtown Raleigh, and of course this is from our Jimmy V camera. Snow is coming down. We're starting to see it sticking, say, to the tables there, but notice that it isn't sticking to the roads. Don't let that give you some sense of the fact that it may not. Right now, we're not seeing it sticking, but I mean, it won't take but 10 minutes once it starts to stick to cover the streets. And our temperature is now 29 degrees. We have a wind out of the northeast at 10 miles per hour, so pushing in some of that colder air. So at any point now, we could start to see it sticking to the roads, and then from then on out, it's going to be really messy. Our heaviest snowfall totals will likely be Rocky Mount, Lewisburg, north and east at 3 to 6 inches, around the Triangle up to, say, Roxborough, around 1 to 3, and then maybe up to an inch of some snow and sleet down to the south. But of course, parts of Cumberland County, Sampson County, and Wayne County are also likely to see some accumulating ice, which could cause some power outages. So watch how things fill in. Like right now, it's a bit on the patchy side. We're seeing that on radar. Watch how it really starts to fill in. And that'll be the case between now and 5 o'clock, really all the way until around 8 or 9. And then we start to see it dissipating a little bit, but then redeveloping for tomorrow morning. And when that happens, we'll likely end up with another round of some snow between, say, 7 and noon, maybe another ½ an inch to an inch. Temperatures are dropping. Temperatures are in the 20s for most of us, some low 30s down south. Fayetteville and Clinton now at 30 and 31. What that means is the freezing rain is likely to begin. Temperatures will remain cold for the rest of the day, and wind chill will be an issue, which we'll talk more about coming up. Ken?
Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Want to keep it right outside. Give you a live look at I-40 and Wade Avenue. The sea snow is coming down at a rather steady clip, but as Elizabeth just alluded to, it's not really sticking to the roads. And again, we don't want to give you a false sense of security as a result. Similarly, this is a little to the east of Raleigh, I-87, Wendell Falls Parkway. You can see the snow is starting to stick to the grassy area right there, but not sticking to the roads. Again, even though it's not sticking to the roads right now, as it begins to fall throughout the night, things could get a little bit dicey. So just keep that in mind. A couple of things we want to bring your attention to before we let you go. Crash on Timber Drive in the westbound lane at Benson Road. We're not seeing any delays in that area, but you know, if you happen to be in a situation where you're seeing an emergency vehicle, and if you have to be out on the roads, just keep in mind, just be exceedingly careful. In terms of the major routes coming into the capital city, if you have to be out, you're looking at a 4-minute delay, Friends and Wake Forest. over in the Bull City, very little to no delays on any of the major routes coming into Durham. And when you see green on our map, that means that's the damp and wet road conditions because of the precipitation that's now falling. We'll continue to update you here in the WRAL Traffic Center.
All right, thank you, Ken. And wintry precipitation is spreading across our viewing area and will make those driving conditions very difficult, as Ken was just mentioning.
Yeah, WRAL meteorologist Amy Wilmoth is tracking some of those snowflakes out there and putting a lot of miles on the WRAL storm tracker. What are you seeing right now in Johnston County?
Well, we had reports of accumulating snow, so we're like, let's go check it out. Let's go to Clayton and see what's happening. And so far, the good news is the roads are still okay. As Elizabeth mentioned, don't let that make you attempt to go out and do things. The roads are going to get bad, and I think it's going to happen fairly quickly here in the next couple of hours. The roads right now are just wet, but what we've noticed, some snow accumulating on the sides of the roads. We've seen cars totally blanketed in a cover of snow, in snow here in Clayton as well. The road temperature is below freezing. The air temperature is below freezing. So I do think conditions will continue to deteriorate as we progress through the next few hours. But you can see here on the side of the road that we do have some of the snow starting to accumulate. Now coming up in just a little bit, we're going to have another live hit. We're going to be probably in this same area. We're going to keep driving around and checking it out. And then eventually we'll make our way to Rocky Mount, which is going to be one of those spots that gets the heaviest snow. So be sure to keep checking back in, and we'll keep you posted on the road conditions out here. Right now, we're live in Clayton. Back to you.
Thanks, Amy. The DOT pre-treated hundreds of miles of interstates, highways, and secondary roads with brine.
Yeah, now crews are standing by with more than 130,000 tons of salt to treat the roads after the storm hits. WRAL's Chelsea Donovan is at the DOT maintenance yard where the agency shared an update. Chelsea.
Yeah, so we've actually moved over I-40 this afternoon, and that's because these are some of the main roads that they treated first. They do the interstates first, as you can see behind me. That brine really doing its job here, although traffic is moving along pretty quickly. Hopefully they'll slow down, as Elizabeth Gardner mentioned, as this snow will start to stick here sooner than later. Let's show you some video. Earlier today, we shot at the maintenance yard. You can see all of those snow plows at the ready. More than 380 snow plows are working round the clock today, and of course into tomorrow if we have that wraparound storm. Also, 80 support vehicles also on the road. We've noticed some of these vehicles stationed along the shoulders and the ramps. That's because they will immediately start that process once that snow starts to fall and stick. Take a listen to Doug McNeil, maintenance engineer, talking about how this process works.
Essentially for us, whenever you can no longer see the lines on the pavement, that's our indication that we need to start spreading material. And then as we get a little more accumulation from there, that's when we drop our blades and start clearing off the roadway.
All right, so as you mentioned, the primary roads first, that would be these interstates, then the secondary roads, and then your residential roads would be last in this process. We also heard from the governor today they've removed 273 abandoned vehicles along the side of the road to make this process even swifter when they have to start this clearing process. Of course, we're going to be roving around all afternoon to check out the latest conditions, and we'll bring you our live reports. Live in Raleigh, Chelsea Donovan, WRAL News.
You know, when winter weather heads our way, Roxborough is usually the flag bearer for our snow capital, right?
Yeah, they take the brunt of the impact. And WRAL's Eric Miller and photojournalist Keith Baker ventured up to Person County. Some snowflakes coming down there. Eric, what else are you seeing?
Hey guys, the snow blowers are definitely turned on here in Roxbury. You take a look behind us at the courthouse, you can see those showers really coming down here. And you may just be able to see those signs on the buildings warning folks that these government buildings here in Roxborough, they have shut down now because of this winter weather, officially closing early at noon today. Still, the only place we're seeing this snow stick is going to be spots like this, these mailboxes, a couple of trash cans around town. Really, these are the only places right now that are cold enough at this point. The roads, the sidewalks, even the grass at this point still too warm to really see any accumulation. You take a look at this video. For us, the snow really started going just after 11 o'clock. Before that, we were seeing flurries on and off, but since then it has been pretty continuous here in downtown Roxborough. In our travels going from Raleigh all the way up here to Roxborough, we saw plenty of DOT crews staged along those major roadways, major intersections there. Lots of salt, lots of brine out there on the road. But again, that accumulation, it remains just out of reach here. Things just a little bit too warm. And those plow crews, those school kids out there and us still waiting to see that snow start to pile up. Still, we're keeping a very close eye on it. We'll let you know what we're seeing here from the snow capital of our area. In Roxborough, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
And as with any weather event, it pays to phone your airline to just check on your flight status. The cancellations and delays have been building all morning.
WRAL's Destiny Patterson has been keeping an eye on the big board at RDU International all morning long. And Destiny, I know you have come across some stranded passengers as well.
Well, you know, it all goes back to the delays and the cancellations. The delays have seen the biggest impact. They're now at 16 and we're at 70 cancellations. I want you to take a look at the board here. We're seeing a lot of that orange pop up. That means cancellations and delays. I mean, we're looking at Charlotte, Chicago, New York City. We're also looking at Philadelphia. So a lot of cities that are impacted for people trying to leave here from RDU. I've also talked to people that either have or have tried to change their itinerary so that they could leave out a little bit earlier, because that is where we're seeing the biggest impacts, is those afternoon flights. One family says that they're trying to get to Florida for a cruise.
We wanted to try to get here a little bit earlier just to be prepared for anything. We kind of only had one shot. If this flight doesn't get out, we're kind of out of luck. So fingers crossed that we're one of the lucky ones that can get to our destination.
Here at RDU, we are definitely starting to see that snow come down around the airport. But we do know that RDU has put out new equipment, and I've also seen some salt on the runways as well, as so that they can try to get as many flights out as possible. But again, if you are traveling today, you're definitely going to want to check in with your airline to see if your flight is still going to take off or if there are any delays or cancellations. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News, live at RDU.
And your time is 12:11 here in the WRAL Live Center. Before I show you a viewer pic that someone sent us, I do want to show you this view of I-40 at Wade Avenue, and I'm showing you this. I'm not sure if it's the camera or maybe it's a little lighter in terms of the effects there, but you'll see it's kind of hard to see as the cars are driving there in the snow. So it looks like limited visibility there, but again, it could just be the camera that's doing that. Now, someone who sent a photo to us through our WRAL.com reported submission. This right here, it says Rocky Mount, we love WRAL, and then of course they have the day's date, and we appreciate it. Though whoever sent this photo to us, we genuinely want to know why the hangar outside. We saw it and it made us kind of laugh a little bit. We wanted to know the story behind that. But again, if you want to submit your photos here that we can put them on air, WRAL.com/report it.
Love the hangar.
Sometimes it just, I don't know, it ends up outside somehow.
It's a nice touch. You can always track real-time traffic during your drive by listening to WRAL News on the radio. You can listen anytime. 99.3 in Raleigh, 96.5 in Durham, and 101.5 HD3 all across the triangle.
And stay with us for the most accurate forecast on this WRAL Weather Alert Day. When we return, we'll examine how the storm is impacting medical facilities across the viewing area.
Welcome back this noon. The heaviest snow is expected north and east of the triangle, while more mixed precipitation is expected to our south.
Yeah, but everyone is at risk for travel trouble today and tomorrow, regardless of snow or sleet or ice. WRAL's Brett Neese is keeping an eye on the Wake County roads. Brett, how's it looking out there? It's coming down.
It really is, Michelle, and it's supposed to be more snow in this area, but I'm feeling a wintry mix as it is blowing this direction at us. We're right here along Capitol Boulevard, and you can see the snow is accumulated on the side of the road itself, but there on Capitol Boulevard, no accumulation on the roadway at this point, which is good news. But where we are seeing, of course, the ground, but then also the roofs of some of these buildings, some of these houses, you can see as the snow continues to come down in thicker waves and thicker layers, you can see it really starting to build on some of these roofs here in the northern part of Wake County along Capitol Boulevard. This is one of these newer developments here in this part of the county. And you can actually see along the sidewalk here where it's starting to accumulate a little bit on the sidewalks as well. We know a number of people are using that salt and ice melt to make sure that things don't get slippery out on their sidewalks. But we see some of the accumulation on some of the driveways as well. But there are quite a few folks on US 1 Capitol Boulevard here in the northern part of the county. At this point, we're seeing a lot more traffic here at the noon hour, but haven't seen any traffic troubles, no issues on the roadways. Haven't seen any crashes in this part of the county so far. We are going to get back out on the road, though, and let you know. You can see some of the pavement right here. You can see that wet layer because the snow has already, it hits the ground. The pavement's still warm enough that it has melted. It's going to become tricky because of that wetness, that slipperiness. It really is not making things easy to travel in at this point. But we're going to continue to check in on things here throughout Wake County and keep you updated. Live in Wake Forest, Brett Neese, WRAL News.
Add day to take it slow for sure. And that wintry weather can quickly turn hazardous, causing you to seek medical care.
Yeah, WRAL health reporter Grace Haba joins us now. And Grace, snow continues to fall. It's a different set of problems here because where people can go to get their care becomes more limited under these conditions.
That's absolutely right. Just in the last few minutes, the snow has definitely picked up here at the Village District. We are standing at the corner of Smallwood and Oberlin. And throughout the morning, I've been calling area urgent cares and clinics, trying to gauge who, if anyone, is still open. And guys, the long answer short is really nobody. Everyone, including this Wake Med urgent care here at Village District, has already closed for the day. This location told me they checked their last patient in shortly before 10:30. This is all in an effort, of course, to ensure both patient and staff safety and making sure everyone who works at these locations and who came to get treated this morning are able to make it back home safely before those roads get worse. Now, on the flip side, though, not being able to walk into urgent cares or clinics can actually cause more people to go to emergency rooms, even if their cases aren't that severe. One emergency room physician with UNC Health says ERs are going to be crowded, but he says in some cases you might be able to take advantage of some other options and avoid leaving your house at all.
If their insurance coverage allows for it, getting online and being able to use those telehealth options for accessing care. It's not perfect, but it allows for an opportunity to have a medical professional evaluate what the condition is and make a determination of whether emergent care needs to happen.
And another good option if you need some care today is to contact a nurse line. All of our major area hospital systems here in the Triangle do operate 24/7 nurse lines. Wake County EMS as well can also help connect you to a nurse triage line. And that way, a trained medical professional can help you gauge if you do need to go out and make it to an emergency room, or if your condition can wait and you can seek care maybe tomorrow or Friday when these roads are a bit better. For now, reporting live in the Village District, Grace Haba, WRAL News.
Virtual telehealth. Yeah. This is a good day to phone it in.
Yeah, no, it is. And it's interesting because it's really not something you think about when you get winter weather. You think about government buildings closing, but you don't really think about medical buildings. So some good advice there from Grace Haba.
We're always thinking about the weather forecast right now. Elizabeth Gardner over in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. I think you've fallen in love with this Zebulon camera.
I have. It's just like the perfect snow globe. You can see the grass right here. The snow continues to just slowly pile up on the grass. And then back here past the flags, it also shows how breezy it is. You can see snow on the roof there of this just castle-like town hall that they have. Just absolutely beautiful. And then we flip over to Fayetteville. Oh, feeling really bad for those folks. It's 31 degrees already. They're just seeing rain. And so that means that some of this is going to start to freeze, potentially, weighting down the trees and the power lines and causing those power outages. So we're talking about parts of Cumberland, Sampson, and Wayne County seeing the best chance of that. We see that wintry mix here for Fayetteville over through Sampson County and over toward Goldsboro. Elsewhere, it's snow. It's a little bit on the patchy side right now, but it's definitely coming down from Raleigh to Clayton to Smithfield to Rollsville to Durham, a little lighter over towards Siler City and Sanford right now, but it is likely to fill in. We're going to see a low pressure system developing here offshore. This is going to sort of take over from that low that's down along the Gulf Coast and really continue to push the energy in, push that precipitation. So watch this low. This low moves over toward Florida, and then the low develops offshore and keeps that snow going and even wraps some around for tomorrow morning. So this will continue until, say, around lunchtime tomorrow. We take a look at our winter weather chances. It's now about a 90% chance. We're looking at a 100% chance up until around 5 or 6 o'clock. And And then by the time we get to, say, 9 or 10, it tapers off before we see more of that snow tomorrow. Of course, we're looking at the heaviest amounts of snow in our northeastern counties. Meteorologist Chris Michaels is here taking a look at where you're going to have the best chance of having to get out and shovel.
And I think it is, yeah, in those northeastern counties, you're looking at parts of Franklin, Nash, Edgecombe, Halifax, Northampton, Warren, Vance, and Mecklenburg counties. Even as you go farther to the south, that's where things may get a little sleety, right in parts of Johnston County, South Wake County. So we're going to give you a little advice on that here in just a little bit. Much different from the snow we saw just about a month ago, because this is kind of your average snow, the wetter snow, right? If you were to take 10 inches of it and melt it down, that would equate to about 1 inch of liquid. This is pretty typical for us here in North Carolina, whereas last time around it was very powdery. So this time around, not the easiest to shovel, especially in those northeastern counties. So you want to kind of chip away at it as it falls, but it is good for snowballs and snowmen, at least initially. But moving forward, Elizabeth was just talking about this. Here's our main system in the green. It's passing energy off to the red, so that coastal low takes over. That's going to be our main event through tonight. And then tomorrow morning, this upper level thing is like, oh yeah, one more thing, and it's going to push in and give us a few light snow showers. So we're actually watching this play out in real time, Elizabeth, and it's cool to see how that lines up with some of the data that you're showing right now.
Chris, it's been really interesting. You know, we've been here since very early this morning, since way before any of this began. So it has been kind of neat to watch it all evolve as we, go through time. So here's a look at some of the potential snowfall totals: up to 2 inches in Roxbury, 2.5 Durham, around 3 in Raleigh, and then as much as 4.5 in Rocky Mount, and then north and east up near the Outer Banks, it could be up to, say, 8 to 10 inches. The other thing that we're looking at is the wind chill. Our wind chill is in the teens and 20s right now as our temperatures continue to fall. As we get into tomorrow, we're going to start in the teens and end up with our wind chill only in the mid-20s. Keep that in mind as you're sending kids out to go sledding. Tomorrow we'll have snow for the first half of the day. It won't be until Friday before we see sunshine and some melting.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Stay with us right here on WRAL and WRAL News Plus. We'll have live weather updates today and tomorrow, which again are WRAL weather alert days. Find WRAL News over the air on Channel 34 News Plus and Spectrum Channel 1257, as well as the WRAL News app.
And some viewers might be concerned about the possibility of power outages due to ice and sleet. After the break, we'll get a live update on efforts to keep the electricity flowing. Welcome back. We are starting to see some snow accumulation in parts of our viewing area. Flurries and light snow began falling in Wake, Johnston, and Harnett counties around 9:30 this morning, and that will impact road conditions.
Picking up now, WRAL's team of 7 meteorologists is zeroed in on the forecast data to keep us all informed of the precise timing so you know how to plan. I would plan for another day to visit the WRAL Gardens. As you see there, the Azalea Gardens getting a little coat of snow on them.
Yes,
I love
very
it.
pretty, right outside our window right now. Let's begin with a look at the forecast with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at what's to come, how much we're going to see.
Yeah, the snow is coming down. We're going to see some sleet mixing in, and definitely our southeastern counties have the potential to see some freezing rain. Roads at the moment are wet, but it won't take much time for the temperature to drop maybe another degree or so and for that to start to stick. And once it does, it'll become slick very, very fast. Power outages, our southeastern counties could see some of that freezing rain totaling up to 1/4 of an inch and causing some power outages. We have a low pressure system moving toward Florida. Another one will develop here offshore, and that's going to keep it going. All the precipitation, the snow, the sleet, the freezing rain, all the way through this evening, and then some wraparound moisture comes back around to bring us some snow tomorrow. Here's a look. It's a little bit patchy right now, but the models really show this really filling in terms of, just the fact that it's patchy right now. So as that low keeps developing, we'll see more of this precipitation right now from Sanford to Raleigh, north of I-95, south of I-95, Goldsboro, Fayetteville. That's where we're seeing some rain and some potential freezing rain. Durham coming down steadily, as well as Carrboro, Rollsville, Zebulon, Rocky Mount, Enfield, seeing that snow coming down. Look at this. this. I mean, it is just dumping snow in Franklinton right now, covering the cars, covering the roofs, covering the awnings. Right now it's 29 degrees officially in the Triangle. We have northeast wind at 11 miles per hour. It's making it feel like teens in many places with that wind chill. Here's a look at Cary. Also, you can see some of the snow on the grass and the tops of the buildings there in Cary. Okay, we're looking at our heaviest snowfall potential. Rocky Mount, Lewisburg, north and east at 3 to 6 inches. The light blue shaded area as much as 1 to 3 inches. Some sleet kind of mixing in around Lillington and Goldsboro. And then, of course, the potential for some snow tomorrow, which could bring everybody maybe a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. Don't forget that ice potential too. Fayetteville, Clinton, Goldsboro. We have rain falling there now, but temperatures have dropped to 31 in Fayetteville, so we might start to see that freezing on surfaces here shortly. Watch what happens. Right now, it is fairly patchy. By the time we get to 3, 4 o'clock, it has really filled in, and it just comes down steadily all the way through around 9 or 10 o'clock. Then we see a little bit of a break, and by 7 a.m. tomorrow, we start to see it redeveloping, sort of wrapping back around here with that potential for some just light snow at 7 a.m. and then picking up a little bit through the middle of the morning. So keep that in mind. It may become even more slippery tomorrow as we see that wraparound moisture coming on through the area. Right now, temperatures, look at that, we dropped to 24 in South Hill, 29 in the Triangle, 31 in Fayetteville and Southern Pines, where I'm watching that potential for some freezing rain. We take a look at the storm tracker there in Clayton. That is where meteorologist Amy Wilmoth is right now, taking a look at what you're seeing. Some snow on the cars there.
That's right. Yeah, we pulled over. The snow's coming down here. It's fairly light snow, but Jamie Munden, the photojournalist, pan over and show you some of the snow that's covering the cars here at this car dealership. They had a little burst of snow, and so they have the snow sticking to the cars. And then if Jamie pans over to the grassy area, there's some snow that's starting to accumulate on the grassy surfaces. But then if you look at 70 Business, it's wet. It's not a problem right now on this particular road. I do have a temperature gun here. Let's just check the temperature. 32, 33, so right at freezing. So luckily we aren't seeing any issues on the roads just yet, but the snow definitely accumulating here in Clayton. Okay, so what's next for us? We're going to head back into the car. We have reports of some accidents. We have an overturned vehicle in Johnston County on 95, and then we also have reports that I-95 is shut down just south of Rocky Mount. That's our next assignment. That's where we're going to head. So we'll be sure to tune back in and let you know how things are looking just south of Rocky Mount as we head in that direction. Back to you.
All right, Amy, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. You just mentioned that crash on I-95 South. I'm going to take you right to it. It's actually near Micro, closer to Selma, in the southbound lanes. You can see the huge delays it's causing right there in the Micro area. This, again, in Johnston County. Our sensors are indicating that at least one lane of I-95 is closed, because when you see red, that illustrates that at least one lane is closed and one lane is getting through. And once you get past St. Stephen's Road, then you're free and clear. If it were completely closed, this whole area right there would be purple. So right now we're thinking that maybe just one lane is closed. And of course, Amy Wilmoth and photographer Jamie Munden are heading that way and give us a better idea of what's going on there. Bringing it back to Wake County, look at this. I-40 and Wade Avenue. We've been telling people to stay off the roads. Don't be lulled into this sense of security because it's not sticking. But a situation here in Zebulon, his I-87 and Arundel Avenue, you see it's beginning to stick to the grassy area, but traffic is getting through at a steady clip. So just be careful out there. We'll continue to update you here in the WRAL Traffic Center.
Yeah, Ken, I really hesitate to speak this into existence because we really haven't had too many serious issues associated with this weather. Right now, the snow's been falling for less than 3 hours.
Right, and Eric Miller, he is headed to Roxborough, or as we like to call it, the snow capital of our area. Eric, how are the roads out there?
Well, so far, so good. Things are just warm enough here. We're not seeing a lot of accumulation still. Some people not taking any chances. If anybody knows about risk, it's folks in the insurance business. And you can see at least Donovan Insurance Agency here closed for inclement weather. They're not taking any chances with this storm moving in. Still, what we're seeing out here, we've seen a good amount of snow just in the last 30 minutes. You can see it slowed down here, but it was really falling fast for about 20 to 30 minutes here. And that was enough to paint the cars here in the parking lot with a nice layer of snow, a dusting on top of the camellias there next to the church. And look over there in the grass and on the ground, just the slightest hint, just the littlest bit of accumulation. That's enough to get the hearts of every kid here in Person County beating a little fast, but not enough to get those sleds out just yet. So we're keeping a close eye on the conditions. We'll let you know what we're seeing here in Person County. Eric Miller, WRAL News.
All right, thanks, Eric. And let's head over to neighboring Durham County for a look at conditions there.
Yeah, as we head just a little bit south. Durham Public Works just wrapped up a news conference, and WRAL's Sean Gallagher was there. He joins us live with the message that they want the people to understand here.
Yeah, that's for sure. They are switching from preparation to operations now. As you can see, the snow is starting to fall here behind me, and oddly quiet here right now. That's because those crews are all out and about putting this out on the road very soon. They have 50,000 tons of rock salt that they're going to be using to try to prevent the roads from getting too slick, too snowy, so that it's safe for everybody there. And they have 24 trucks that are out right now, and they will be operating one-man shifts 12 hours at a time, all around the clock until this storm wraps up. Now, they did prep the roads with a brine. They've been doing that for the last few days, but their brine machine now very quiet. They are shifting all of their operations from brine to salt, and they tell us that they will actually have the plows out to scrape some of that snow off the roadways once they get to about 2 inches. Now, when I spoke to DOT earlier today, they said really when the lines on the roadways start to get covered, that's when they think it is time to start plowing. But right now, even though the snow is falling, not a lot sticking to the ground, or the roads, I should say. The ground is starting to get a light coverage, but the roads still have to wait until that snow can stick a little bit further before these guys get on their way to start clearing those roadways. So still kind of a little bit of a wait and see for now at DPW, but we'll throw it back to you guys.
And at least here on I-87 at Hodge Road, not too far from Nightdale, it looks like snow is starting to stick a little bit as you look at the road here behind me. But in addition to showing you the road conditions this afternoon, I'm also obviously looking at some of the viewer pictures that people have been sending us, including these dogs right here. On the left, someone sent us this photo. This is Blueberry. This is a dog that's in Raleigh, and Rachel Watkins sent that dog in. And over to the right, Molly May, a dog in Anger, and it was sent to us by Ashley Denton. And obviously, it's not just going to be the dog show when we're having this. When you see the dogs out there in the snow, we have to obviously show something like that. But we also want to see what it looks like where you are right now. Here's how you can do that. Simply go to WRAL.com/reported, and you can submit your photos and videos too, if you have it, right to us so we can put them on air.
Welcome back on your WRAL Weather Alert Day. Yeah, it's coming down over downtown Cary Park. Looks like a beautiful snow globe. You don't see anybody outside.
Do not shake it up and stir it up too much. Though.
No. No. All right, let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Garter. She has another really awesome look over the DBAP.
I tell you what, it's really hard to choose what camera to show you next because they're all amazing. Look at this. I mean, it is just dumping snow here at the DBAP. They do have the diamond covered up, with plastic or a cloth, but you can see on the regular grass there that snow is accumulating. It started to accumulate across other parts as you kind of across there at Durham. Just lots and lots of snow coming down. 28 degrees currently at the airport, so that temperature is slowly dropping. Our dew point's 21. That means there's still a little bit of dryness in the atmosphere. That means that temperature could continue to fall. As a matter of fact, our forecast is for it to keep falling on down into the mid-20s by the time we get to this evening. We would call this a significant storm. Definitely not just inconvenient, but not crippling. We do have closings and delays. Schools, of course, closed for today. Outages are possible as we get through the evening. We're going to be watching for that potential for there to be some freezing rain down in the Fayetteville area. And we'll likely be dealing with this at least until Friday because it's just going to be too cold to melt any of it tomorrow. Plus, we'll see another round of snow tomorrow. Right here's the purple shaded area. We're going to be watching this as it moves farther north, which is likely maybe all the way up into southern Wake County. We'll start to see snow mixing with sleet, and that will keep the amount of snow, of inches of snow down a little bit where it starts to mix with sleet. But I really feel like from Raleigh northward, this is all going to be snow, and they're going going to be certainly some significant totals. It's coming down there in Durham, where we just saw that live picture. Raleigh, Wilson, Rocky Mount, Roanoke Rapids, all seeing some pretty hefty snow coming down. Here's a look at the big picture. This low pressure system will transfer its energy over here to another that develops and moves up the coast. So this is a coastal low, which means the heaviest totals will be closer to the coast. So Lewisburg, Rocky Mount, up toward Roanoke Rapids, 3 to 6 inches. But then Smithfield, Raleigh, Roxborough, more like 1 to 3. And those lower totals will be, Smithfield toward Lillington, and then maybe up to an inch of snow and sleet, but some freezing rain for our southern counties too. Our chances of precipitation, 100% up until around 7 or 8, and then it begins to taper off slightly. And then, of course, we get another round of it for tomorrow. We take a look at our winds and wind chill, or our temperatures and our wind chill. It feels like teens in most places. It's really, really cold out there, but that snow starts to fall, and the kids want to get out and start sledding. You guys have already done a great job of sending us some photos. Chris Michael is here with a look at some of the best ones that we've seen so far.
And Elizabeth, I tell you, it's like rapid fire, these pictures coming in. So thanks to you guys for doing that. In fact, some of the newest information, it was around 9:30 that we first started hearing from you guys. Hey, it's snowing here, sleeting here. And that's when we really knew that this was getting its act together. And it looks like the main event lasts, as Elizabeth was saying, until about 9 p.m. So you're like, okay, let's report it. It's a place where you can send pictures and videos. You go to WRAL.com/report it. It's as easy as that. This one is where worlds are colliding. You see that palm tree there covered in snow. Great shot from Laurel Lynn. That's in Raleigh. We've got another cool shot here of the birdhouse in Clayton. Initially, it was really dumping in Clayton and accumulating quickly. Thanks to Ruthie for that one. And this is what I mean when we say we're watching this system like a hawk. Quite literally. Thanks to Destiny there in southern Wake County, and Elizabeth, just one of the people watching this system very closely. And yeah, looks like it is starting to get its act together, but by tomorrow, at one last burst of snow in the morning.
Yeah, this is going to last for quite some time. And it's interesting to see all the models. Right now it's a little bit patchy. All the models really have this filling in as that low along the coast really gets it's developed. Overnight lows in the mid-20s, but wind chills down into the teens. Tomorrow is going to be a cold, windy day with snow to start with. We don't see sunshine until Friday, so it's not likely to be until Friday afternoon before we start to see a little bit of melting. But once that starts, our temperatures really start to climb. Did you see that? 67 on Tuesday. So if you don't like this, just hold on.
We call it the North Carolina roller coaster. It looks like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Well, do you have any family photos showing your sledding adventures? Maybe you created a snowman that you'd like to share with us. Send us your good times in the snow at WRAL.com/report it on the WRAL website.
Got a breaking update here in the WRAL Live Center within the past 5 minutes here. Now, Ken Smith was telling you about that crash that he was reporting, and it turns out this is where that is. It's actually on I-95, and this is in Johnston County. And you'll see this overturned tractor trailer here. A couple of photos that we have from our photojournalist, John Payne, out there, but you can see right here, they're trying to get on top, and it's not quite clear if someone's inside the cabin there, but right here you'll see, again, just a different angle as they're on the ladder on top of this. Now, in terms of if anything spilled or if anyone was injured, that's not quite clear, but we're trying to reach out to investigators to get more specifics on this situation that's unfolding at this very minute.
Chris, thanks for that. It is game on. Within the last 30 minutes, we learned tonight's men's basketball game between UNC and NC State will take place as planned. The ACC policy is to cancel or postpone games only if the conditions affect the safety of the teams or game officials involved. The policy also dictates the ACC wait as long as possible to make a decision. They've done that, and they are playing tonight. Duke is scheduled to host Louisville in a women's basketball game tomorrow night at Cameron Indoor. We'll keep you posted on a decision about that game as well.
Yeah, and we haven't heard from local school districts about their plans for tomorrow. Once we know, you can find out how the storm will impact your child's schedule. You can see all school closings and delays at the top of our website, WRAL.com.
Also an important message about the 3 Ps of winter weather: pets, pipes, and plants. Don't leave house pets outside for long periods in the cold. Consider pet jackets or sweaters, especially if your pup has short fur. Bring potted plants indoors, even into the garage maybe. Cover plants to prevent frost. Check insulation, especially those in attics, basements, and crawl spaces for the pipes. And finally, bring in the garden hose to prevent it from freezing as well.
And NBC News Daily is coming up on WRAL, and your next local news update is coming up in 30 minutes.
And we have continuous coverage headed your way. Breaking news updates as our day continues as well on WRAL's news app.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.